Just average, yeah. Today's video is just going to be sort of a unedited, unfiltered, like sort of my thoughts about the Switch 2 after owning it for sort of a few months now. You see, the Switch 2, in my opinion, it gets a lot of hate. I don't know why, to be honest. Like ever since I've owned this thing, it's the only thing I've been playing. That's not just to just say I'm justifying the purchase by any means, but it really is. I've always preferred handheld gaming over console gaming. For me, handheld gaming, being able to play, your games in your hand. Ever since I was a young boy, the PSP, DS, 3DS, PS Vita, I've always preferred to play games in my hands. I've never really liked playing games over a console with your back hunched over. However, obviously with recent times, the way handheld gaming has been, it's just been my preferred way recently. However, with the resurgence of handheld gaming, like the Steam Deck and the Nintendo Switch 2, it's made me think that like my passion for handheld gaming it's still there and it's coming back and I love it. It's crazy. See, for me, the biggest thing about the Switch 2 that I love is it feels premium. Like it feels like a massive, massive, massive improvement over the actual original Switch. And the way, in my opinion, I could describe the original Switch, like when I had this Switch or Switch OLED, was it felt somewhat flimsy. Like when I was playing it, when you sort of squeeze the sort of Joy Cons or whatever it was, it felt flimsy. It felt like I could break the actual system. The Switch 2, it feels premium. It feels well made. It doesn't feel like there's any shaky parts. It feels good. And the magnetic Joy Cons, oof, those themselves are genuinely a game changer. They're just fun to play that on its own, to be honest. But yeah, I've been playing currently Hades 2. It's my favorite game of the year. I can't speak highly enough about that game. The amount of replayability that game has to offer, it's mental. It's crazy, and it's the only thing I've been playing on the Switch 2 recently. But if I show you here, I've got I don't know if you guys can see that because I'll bring it a bit closer. It's here. So I've got currently loaded up. I've got Hades 2, Cyberpunk, Unicorn Overlord, Fortnite, Apex, a couple indie games, Dead Cells, Slay the Spire, Gundam, Metroid, Stardew Valley. A few games loaded up on here, and the game it's incredible. Hades 2 for me, again, like I've been saying, that's the one I've been playing. But I've played a bit to put a couple hours into Cyberpunk because I've been wanting to replay Cyberpunk ever since. And for me, this is another thing what I love about handheld gaming, or the Switch in particular, is JRPGs or RPGs that are quite long. I just can't, for some reason, sitting at a PlayStation, I can't play long sessions of it. And if you play like Persona or like an RPG, the games are very long. They've got long missions, so on and so forth. And for me, having to sit down and play the games, it's just not something I really like to do. But being able to play them whenever I want. The thing about the Switch 2 is the games are never truly off. If you close the Switch, or if you put it on sleep, or whatever it is, the game's still there, it's still running. And whenever you jump back on, it's going to be ready to play again, which is something that it's like you can't beat. You can't beat that sort of flexibility when you're playing an RPG. And an example of this is Unicorn Overlord. It's a JRPG that has, like, there's too many mechanics to the game for me to explain to you. Probably make another video about that. But the game itself is hella fun to play. But the thing is about the actual game itself is because it's a lengthy JRPG, there's a lot of dialogue, there's a lot of micromanaging, there's a lot of things you got to do in between. Whereas sitting at a console playing with the controller in your hand, it's just not something ideal. That's why I love the Switch 2, and this is why I highly recommend that. Look, if you are an RPG player, if you're a fan of indie games, this console's for you. Like, don't let other people's opinions put you sort of change your mind. I'm not your dad. At the end of the day, if you are interested in the system, I'm just here to give you sort of the what it's like to own one. Now, that's not to say it's all sunshine and rainbows. My biggest drawback of the system is it's from Nintendo themselves. Peripherals, games, expensive. They're so expensive. Like, first party Nintendo games shouldn't be touching anywhere near £70 or $70. It shouldn't. I can't ever see like any reason for that to be the case. The only game that I could say that is worth, or I won't say worth, but it's near enough worth the price, is Donkey Kong Bonanza. I played the demo. It's a fun game. But yeah, and peripherals like the Pro Controller, so on and so forth, it racks up mad. Like, if you buy a Switch 2 on its own, chances are you're not gonna play with the Joy-Cons for quite a while, unless you're playing in handheld mode, obviously. So you're gonna end up upgrading to a controller. I'd highly recommend looking at cheaper options. And and for me, one of the biggest things that makes no sense, and I know this is a generation thing, we're going more towards digital. However, Game key cards. Well, what's that about? You don't actually own the game. You just own a key card to download the game. It makes no sense. Essentially speaking, you own a code for it to download the code onto the actual thing. So the game is not on the actual card itself. I never understood that, to be honest. But yeah, but that's not for all games. But for quite a lot of them, the game you don't actually own in a way. It's not on the card, so you can't just buy a game physically, slap it in the Switch 2, then play. No, you got to download it for quite a lot of them. But yeah, so my honest opinion of the Switch 2 is, look, I love this system. It's the only one I'll be playing really. My Steam Deck and Switch 2 are the only two things I actually genuinely play most of the time, and that's because I'm a handheld gamer. And like I've said, like if you love Nintendo, love the sort of ecosystem, chances are you're gonna buy it anyway. So yeah, final verdict. Listen, if you were intrigued in the system, just buy it. Like, you're not gonna regret it. I didn't, and yeah, it's an enjoyable console, and the future looks bright for Nintendo. So yeah, peace. Hope you enjoyed the video, and just let me know in the comments below your thoughts as well.